Hi, I'm Courtney McQuade with Markets Group here at our Alts New York event. With me is Michael Crook, Chief Investment Officer at Mill Creek Capital. It's great to see you, Michael.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
So you just came up with a panel covering the democratization of alts, and there was a broad spectrum of topics that you covered. Tell me a little bit about the macro themes that you were talking about.
Well, we're focused on a few macro themes right now that we think are really driving this economic environment, and we'll keep driving it for the next few years. A few of them, just to mention them briefly, one is immigration, obviously having, call it 10 to 12 million more Americans than I think anybody would have expected just a few years ago, has some pretty big economic implications for the US and for investment markets. We also have millennials, which is the largest generation in the US now, hitting middle age. That's going to drive economic growth in certain ways, also drive demand for housing, just like immigration does. On top of that, baby boomers have a wealth effect going on. They have roughly $5 trillion more in assets than they would have expected to have pre-COVID. Just spending the interest on those assets is enough to drive GDP growth by maybe upwards of 0.5% per year. And then AI, of course, is a big theme for us, for almost everybody.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And where do you think the investment opportunities are?
Well, I think one that I just point to immediately is real estate. We had a housing shortage in the US coming into COVID. That's gotten even worse due to immigration and now a shift where millennials are looking to move from multifamily to single family. And so a lot of the multifamily that was built over the last 10 years really isn't suitable for raising children, or it's not ideal for raising children. We see a pretty good opportunity there once we get through some of the near-term factors impacting housing today, call it 2 years out. It's going to be some nice opportunities on the supply side to take advantage of that trend.
And what do you look at sort of as like an evergreen type?
Evergreen to us is interesting. We're invested in evergreen funds mainly through limited partnership vehicles on the private credit side, but the big expansion of evergreen into private equity, for example, I think is certainly worth considering. We have yet to invest in any of those vehicles, but there's obviously some drawbacks in terms of it's like, I guess I could think about it in terms of the liquidity considerations and possibly getting gated if investors start to flee those vehicles. But from an investor standpoint, the advantages around ease of access, the tax considerations that go into those vehicles, and the day-to-day management of it from an advisor's perspective makes them pretty compelling. And so I think it's something that you have to balance the pros and the cons, and for certain investors, they're going to be interesting vehicles.
And how are you enjoying the event so far?
The event's great so far. It's a good mix of interesting investors, great networking, and great main stage educational presentations.
Well, I'm happy to hear it, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me, Michael. It's great to meet you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And we're at Alts New York.